Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. Actually, no, I don't really want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm not necessarily going to talk specifically about the owlbear, although it's a very nice monster. No, I actually contacted Gale Force 9, who were very nice. Gareth has sent me a box to review, which is why you're all here, and it just happens to be Nolzur's marvelous pigments for monster paint set. So the monsters paint set, this is what we're going to cover today. It's got a whole bunch of paints in it. It's got a miniature in there, and it's for the Dungeons and Dragons franchise, produced by Gale Force 9. But I did notice that when it was sent to me from Battlefront. So I'm assuming whoever Battlefront is in the UK is linked in some way to Gale Force 9. I have not been paid for this review. I did get sent the box free of charge to review for this purpose, and I did tell them that I would be doing it live and doing an edited video at some point on the topic. Now the paints themselves are definitely army painter paints, so they're just smaller. That's one thing that most people have noticed, is they're slightly smaller size. They are 12mm, I believe, rather than the 18mm. And to be honest, paints usually last you a really long time, so I don't think that's going to matter too much. So what I wanted to do is just quickly go over the breakover before we sort of open it up. So there's 36 war paints, of which there are supposed to be a grand total of 29 acrylics. So 29 acrylics, although I don't quite understand why it says 29 on my box, but the image I'm showing you says 30 acrylics, 3 washes, which is good, and it says 2 metallics, but on my box it says 3 metallics, and there's supposed to be one special effect that comes with it. Included is the special miniature, the owlbear, exclusive. You can't get it anywhere else. You have to buy this particular set to get it. And I have to say the big selling point was a whole bunch of paints that have been designed specifically for the monsters out of the monster manual for Dungeons and Dragons 5e. So all of those paint selections and colours are selected based off the monster manual, which I thought was a really cool idea. But my rationale is I want the miniature so I can paint it with you guys online. So this is why we're doing it. I thought it was a good enough reason. So let's jump over to the screen and actually unbox this thing, and you guys can have a good look at it, the real deal. Okay, so I've got my scissors and my little knife here, and we're just going to slice on the side here. You guys let me know if there's anything in particular you want me to answer, because I will pay attention. I'm trying desperately. I've zoomed in really close so you can see what's going on. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting from the side, and the plastic coming off. There we go, getting there. Not really a huge fan of unboxings myself, but I know a lot of people like that sort of thing. And I know this has been reviewed like a gazillion times on YouTube already, and how many people haven't. So as you can see, as I was talking, and the image that I showed you was slightly different in terms of what it's supposed to be in there, which I thought was a little bit odd. But yeah, you can see that there are 36 paints, which you get 29 acrylics, so there's your basic colours. You get 3 washes, 3 metallic colours, and 1 special effect. And you get your owlbear. So that's the front. The back, if we flip it round like so, you can see it sort of gives you just it's a bit of fluff. It's a bit of information. But I like the fact that they have selected colours based off the monster manual. Makes an awful lot of sense to me. And they have actually named a lot of the colours based off creatures that you would find in Dungeons and Dragons. Alright, let's get it open though. And there we go. I'm in the screen. Okay, and slide her off. Come on, baby. Come here. There it is. Okay. So we get what looks like the Dungeons and Dragons Nolzur's Marvelous Pigments official painting guide. And I'm assuming that sort of just gives you an idea of the colour schemes for the owlbear. I noticed that a few people have been painting the owlbear purple. I'm not a purple owlbear kind of guy. I think the brown makes a lot more sense, but it gives you an idea of sort of what colours you would use for the owlbear, which is going to be super helpful when we do live streaming painting and assembly. I'm assuming it's assembled, but might be a few gaps and so forth. We'll check them in a second. And it's got Minx and Boo. Ho-ho! If you want Minx and Boo as part of the other kit, or which is what the Adventurers set or whatever it is. So that's got that one there. We've got a Army Painter pamphlet, which gives you sort of a rundown of all their stuff, their colours, their gear, their brushes. I only use a little bit of their stuff. I don't really use a lot of it. I use some of it, but not all of it. I just try to pick the stuff that I think is the best, that I don't have to go and re-buy later on, which I thought was the most sensible thing to do. Alright, let's start with this miniature, shall we? Here is the owlbear. Now, it's made out of slightly flexible rubber, or is it plastic? I think it's a plasticky rubber. There is some mold lines. I can see a few on the fingers. I can see some joins that will probably need to be filled with putty. It's not too bad though. It's not the worst sort of construction I've ever seen. There seems to be a seam that runs right down the back. The legs are obviously separate. They have been glued in place. It's quite a cool looking miniature though. I really like the pose. It's very action orientated. This is the key reason I really wanted the miniature. That just seemed like the one thing I wanted to go for. And it's pretty strong. I think the only things that would be slightly weak are the fingers, and they're slightly flexible, so they're probably not going to break. So big plus, love that, good news. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to sort of pull out the paints, go through them very quickly. Let's pull out this section here and leave that there, and I'll move these out of the way for now and dump the box, and we'll come back to that in a second. Okay, so first off we have Kinrin Gold. So these are metallic. I'm assuming metallics are marked by a black top, because it's a different coloured top to some of the other paints. Also too, I like the squeezy bottles. You'll see it's none of that lift off the cap, spill the paint everywhere like the Citadel paints. It's the squeezy bottle, which means I'm going to pop the lids off all of these and put little ball bearings in there so it makes it easy to shape them, because it's always the best way to go. So, there's the gold, and then where's the other metallic down here is a, what is that? That's a Silver Dragon. Silver Dragon's next metallic. And another one over here, what's this? This has got to be Dwarven Bronze. So there's our metallics with the black tops, and then we've got Flesh Wash, so a red top for the Flesh Wash, and Shadow Wash. Now they're quite small, the bottles, in comparison to what I'm used to, and they are definitely smaller than what I'm, but you know, the only colours you go through really fast are black and white, and your primary colours. Black and white are always the colours I have to replace all the time. So I'm actually not too unhappy about the fact that they're smaller, because that probably means I get more variety. So this is a brown wash. So you've got a shadow wash, a brown wash, and a flesh wash. Pretty much all the sort of basic washes you might need, I guess. And I'm not too sure where the special effect is. We'll find it eventually. Oh no, here it is. Glistening Blood. It's got a white cap, glistening blood effects. I guess that's what that's all about. Okay, so what have we got here? We've got here Merfolk Turquoise. Merfolk Turquoise, it's sort of like a bluey green colour, turquoise colour. What have we got here? We've got the Ethereal Blue. So it's sort of like a ghostly blue for your ghosts and your other sort of spectral creatures. You've got your Gelatinous Blue. So this is, it doesn't really, it's not, I mean, it's only slightly blue. It looks more white blue than anything else. Yep. And then we've got here Shake Well. Yes, well, that's why I'm going to put the ball bearing in there. Ruby Skin. Is it ruddy? No, it's ruddy skin. Not ruby, it's ruddy skin. What is ruddy skin? It's like a yucky looking brown colour. That's the one. Probably something that's dying or dead, or just hasn't seen the right type of sun. Rosy Skin, so that's a skin colour. Okay, so let's move this little sucker out of the way ditch that box for now. And let's grab another paint tray and see what we've got here. So we've got zombie flesh. There we go. There's the zombie colour. Zombie flesh. So a very sort of greeny, like a vomity green colour. So for zombie flesh, we've got a Wild Emerald. It's a very nice looking emerald colour. And what's this? This is Troll Skin. It's another dark. It's a dark green basically. What's that? Come here, you little sucker. This is Underdark Indigo. So yeah, it's sort of like a purple bluey colour. And then this is Frost Blue. So this is your Frost Giant colour, I guess. It's sort of a dark blue. And then Ghostly Blue. So if you want to use blue for ghosts, there it is. It's a light blue. And then what do we got here? We've got Dungeon Stones for painting dungeon colours or stony colours or rocks, I guess. That'll come in useful. There's some rocks on the miniature. Orc Flesh. Do orcs have flesh? It's sort of grey. Are orcs actually grey? I'm trying to think about that and think, does that make sense? Are they actually grey? Maybe they are. Compared to what Warcraft orcs, which seem to be very, very green. Lich Skin. It's a sort of it's a grey sort of, I don't know. It's lich. It's lich coloured. Come here. All right. So we got Owlbear Brown. We'll be using that one because meet each other, get familiar. And then we've got Green Flame. Oh, somebody's been watching way too much of Acquisitions Incorporated. So it's like a fluorescent green. For those of you who want that sort of colour. This is Grug Green. So Grug is sort of like the little froggy people. Right, so that's that one done. Next, moving right along, we have, come here you. Here we go. Right, so this is Minotaur Hide. So if you want to paint a Minotaur. So it's like a brown colour with something else mixed in there, I'm not quite sure. This is Beholder Purple. Are beholders actually purple? Okay, alright. What do we got here? This is Kobold Red. It's a very dark red. It almost doesn't look red. It looks more brown. It's like a very browny red colour. Alright. And then Goblin. No, it couldn't be. This is supposed to be Goblin Skin. Goblin Skin, I suppose it's sort of like a pasty tan colour nowadays, aren't they? Rather than goblins being green. I kind of prefer my goblins green, but I guess I could live with a goblin tanny skin colour. This is Rust Monster. Okay, so when we're painting rust monsters, do I have some rust monsters to paint? I'm not sure if I do. So this is sort of an orange colour. We have the famous purple worm colour for purple. I don't know that I necessarily like this purple compared to the purple I purchased for a different, what was that? It was a really dark purple and I loved it. But it would be good for shading. So certainly we'll use that. This is Fair Skin for skin colours. So humanoid things. This is Cabone Crimson. So it's named after the demon. Is it demon or devil? I think it's demon. It's a red colour. It's a very dark red colour. And then we got Skeleton Bone for your skeletons. It's sort of like a sort of a really greeny, yucky, bony, something like that. It's a really yucky looking green colour, which I suppose is what you want for you could use it for zombies too, I think. This is Pixie Dust Pink. Holy Toledo, I wasn't even thinking of painting anything completely pink. It's a very pink colour. I wouldn't say it's fluorescent pink, but it's close. And then this one here is Otyog Brown. Oh, I do have an Otyog that could do with a bit of Otyog Brown on it. We'll see if maybe that'll get a little bit of a patch-up job on it. This is Fire Newt Orange. I feel like this is more yellow than orange, but apparently it's supposed to be an orange colour. Looks like yellow to me. Does. Okay, so those are all of the paints. Now, for 36 paints, I don't know how much you would be paying for this. And to be fair, I didn't pay for these paints. I got them sent to me for free. But that's a lot of different colours. You've got all of your primaries, you've got your black and your white, you've got 3 washes, and I was paying, in New Zealand, I would pay roughly about $4.50, $5 if I go to a cheap supplier for a wash. Sometimes I'd have to pay a bit more, particularly if it was a Citadel paint. Vallejo's not quite so bad, but you know, I'm still paying about $4.50 for a single paint pot, and they usually, the Citadels are about this size. They're like 12 mil. If I get the Vallejo, I'm paying less, and I get 18 mil. If you're buying the Army Painter paints, which are priced roughly about the same, I'm still getting a reasonable deal. So that's a lot. That's a lot of paint. If I had to buy all of these individually, it would suck. It would really suck. It would cost me a fortune. $4.50, 10, that's $45, 90 bucks New Zealand. Then we go in and do it again, so it's over $100 worth, maybe more. And then the miniature. There is no paintbrush. That's the only thing I would say. For a paint set, you're getting your paints, you get a miniature, but there's no paintbrush. It's not really a big deal for me because I have paintbrushes. I really like it myself. It's beside the point whether I like it though. I've showed you what it is. You are an adult. You are a grown-up. Make your own decision about it. I'm going to use it for sure, absolutely. But I thought at least I would show you. I think it's actually a pretty good deal. But it depends on how much you're paying in your country. I like the fact that there are so many different colours. There is a lot of different flesh colours here. There's a huge number. That's always the tricky bit, right? Trying to get the right sort of flesh colour for whatever creature you're using. So that is my review. I'm not going to say it's bad or good. I like it. I'm going to use it. It comes down to how much you would be paying for it, I think, ultimately. I'm really sold on the miniature myself, but of course, you know, the price alone for the miniature isn't going to be good enough, right? So the paints have got to deliver what you want. So yeah, if you found this educational, helpful in some way, please share and like the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell button to be notified when I do a new video or I go live, which I often do go live as it happens. Now, if you want to support my channel, you supported my channel by watching this review, and thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I have hundreds more videos you can go and watch if you want to. I don't do Patreon, and I don't plan to do so for 2019, but I do have affiliate links to the book depository and Amazon, which you can check down in the description if you want. I have also provided a link to Gale Force 9's website where you can purchase this particular item. You can't get it off Amazon as far as I can tell, or the book depository, so you would have to go through them as a supplier. That would probably be the only thing that might sort of trip people up. If you have any questions and feedback, let me know in the live chat. If you're not part of live chat, then that's what the comment section's all about. And hey, if I can find my dice, I will say my out, and that is, hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.